Hey, hi everyone. This is Run back with your show E-Coffee with Experts. Today we have Mr. Cary Blackburn with us. Welcome, Cary, to our show.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Great. So, Mr. Cary Blackburn is the partner at HVAC Grow, a marketing agency headquartered in Seattle, Washington. Cary, before we move forward with the podcast, I'd like you to introduce yourself to our audiences tonight.
All right. I'm obviously Cary Blackburn, and I'm one of the partners here for what originally was going to be HVAC Grow or HVAC Grow, but because we moved into other industries, specifically roofing, we made the parent company Results Grow. And I do have to correct my LinkedIn account to say that our headquarters is not in Seattle anymore. We've moved it to Austin, Texas. And that's simply because my partner, Steve, has a house there now. And Austin is Austin and Texas is a very business-friendly place to be with a business. We help out two main home service verticals. We're moving into a third one is HVAC, so heating and air conditioning, or HVAC, whatever you want to call it, roofing, and also artificial turf, which is one area that we're finding that there's a real growth for in specifically the United States and the southern United States with the water restrictions that they now have there. And we help our clients with anything from paid advertising on social media, paid search advertising, search engine marketing, which is your Google PPC, website design, and also with a little bit of SEO, even though that's not a big part of our industry or our business. We do help some of our clients with SEO, but we also help our clients with like automated setups for contacting leads as soon as a lead comes in. If we wanted to go over that, I can go over that later too. But the idea being is that a lot of these guys might be out there doing a job and don't have a chance to contact that lead that comes in, and contacting a lead as quickly as possible is crucial in order to close that lead. So I can go over that later if you want as well. So we've been doing business since the end of 2019, and we've grown from then, where it was myself, Steve, my brother James, and then my son Ryan. And we now have over 20 employees, over 300 clients across the United States and Canada.
Great. So that is where, Cary, we have named this podcast episode as HVAC edition, because I'm sure we're going to learn a lot about how the industry operates, how the lead comes in,
Sure.
how it is overall getting converted for the end business and all of that. Superb. I'm all excited for that. So you have seen the HVAC industry from inside out in terms of working with so many brands out there. If I were to ask you, how has the HVAC industry changed in terms of online marketing over the past few years, and what all strategies that you would have adopted or tried to get in terms with over a period of time? What is the trend that you have seen for the last few years?
I started working with clients in the HVAC industry about 2011, 2012. At that time, there was a big focus on SEO because you could get results within 8 to 12 weeks for clients to get them on the first page, the top of the first page. Was it all completely white hat? Absolutely not. And I won't say it was, but SEO was a huge thing to begin with. And the other way was PPC. Now you could do PPC. Clicks for PPC at that time were incredibly cheap. You could run ads. You could get clicks for less than $1, whether it be for heating or air conditioning. And you could throw up pretty much any landing page. You could throw up any keyword that you want, and you're going to get leads from it. But then as time advanced, people became more savvy about how they needed to do their PPC, and it became more and more expensive. And you had to really change when it came to the PPC side of things, how you optimize these accounts. But I can get into that further later on. But Google was at the time, so it was Google SEO and Google Ads. And my business partner, Steve, who was originally a client of mine, that's how we met, is that his big thing was I got him into SEO, but he was doing his own PPC at the time. And he was making an absolute killing at PPC because it was less than $1 and there wasn't many competitors doing it. I mean, less than $1 a click is what I mean. Mm-hmm. And he threw out every keyword you could think of, kind of like throwing out a big net into a river and catching everything. And because it was so cheap. And he could, depending on the weather, so if he ended up with a cold snap, where we are here on the west coast of Canada at the time, and you could say, I want to double my ad spend for a few days as everything starts breaking as it comes on. that worked very well. Or the other way around, in the summertime when it got really hot and things started breaking, you could do that then. But then again, like, it got way more and more expensive. And then around 2017, 2018, I started really getting into doing Facebook ads and Instagram ads. Instagram wasn't as big at the time, but Facebook ads. And it was like, I think there's a big opportunity here for heating and air conditioning companies to be running Facebook ads. And simply because a lot of the target audience was going to be those people that are on Facebook, that are on Instagram, specifically, that they tend to skew a little bit more female. So there were females on that, and they were there, and they were normally a lot of times homeowners, had a little bit of money and wanted to keep their home. They wanted to keep it, making their homes better or whatever, or you could hit them at the right time. And we saw that, jumped on it right away. I jumped on it right away, tried to convince Steve to do it with his business. It took him a bit to want to do it because he was thinking, because he always says, when I go to him saying, I called him one time when he was on vacation saying, Steve, you need to do Facebook. And Steve looked at me or answered like, what are you talking about, doing Facebook ads? Really? But then it clicked in and we started doing it, and it really started to work for our clients. So that big thing was, again, so one of the things that I saw was paid social media advertising was a lot cheaper than Google ads and worked very well. But what social media doesn't do very well for social media ads is for service. So if somebody needs a repair, right? So that people aren't going to go to social media to look for somebody for repair. They're going to go to Google ads. But if you interrupt them with a good offer for a new system, that tended to work very well. So Facebook ads, I think we were one of the businesses that were really at the forefront of doing Facebook ads for HVAC right around beginning of 2020 into 2021. Now we see a lot of businesses copying our format of ads, which is, it's a huge compliment when you see people copying what we're doing, but more and more doing that. So there's more saturation of that. And so that's another area that we see changing. Also, Instagram, advancing more on Instagram, making sure that you have ads that work on Instagram, because it's a little bit different than Facebook. Still works, but you have to do things a little bit differently there. But then move back into Google ads. You can do Google, like we're moving, like I said, back into doing Google ads. That the reason being is that it's working as long as you do it correctly. And all the different things that Google has done to make Google ads better, you can get affordable leads out of there, but it takes longer. Facebook ads or Instagram ads, we can get a client leads within about 24 to 48 hours from that. Google ads takes a little longer because you have to teach the algorithm as to what it is that who you want the ads to show to, what areas are best to target, what keywords are best to target, because it's not necessarily the same for every area. Like we're talking like the United States and Canada, and that's the only area that we've really marketed into or we've done for our clients, is that in one area, this keyword might work well here, this other one, it may not. It's just a strange thing. We have to teach it. But because of all the data that we have with all our clients, is that we can jump into a market and pretty much get leads fairly quickly and also advance that process of teaching the algorithm a lot faster. So Google ads, again, Google ads is a bit of a resurgence we're seeing in HVAC, and some people may disagree with me on that. That's never really went away, but based on what we've seen, and this is our own experience, right or wrong, is that we're seeing that there's a bit of a resurgence in that. We did see some people try to do TikTok, but we looked at it and we went, no, there's really nothing there because the targeting isn't as good in TikTok. And right now in Canada and the United States, there is a bit of a push to get away from TikTok for whatever political reasons. I'm not going to get into that because I avoid that altogether, but you're seeing less and less people on TikTok, and some on YouTube. That's what we're doing right now, is retargeting on YouTube for our own stuff, not necessarily our client stuff. So there's a bit of that. And so that's a big thing that we've seen, is that it went from initially SEO, Google PPC, over to social media advertising. Social media advertising working very well still, like not organic, but actual paid advertising. And then Google ads, kind of a resurgence there. So hopefully that answered your question. I know it was a bit long-winded, but.
Absolutely did. You summarized the story in terms of what all online marketing tactics you use or can be generally used for HVAC businesses to grow. Any special tactics that you use in your agency to target the audience? These can be local audiences searching for AC repair in summers. So any particular techniques that is being used in your agency to target the local audience or the consumer base in general?
I'll start with the Facebook, Instagram side of things, is that we know the target audiences with all the data that we have, because at times right now we have over 300 clients. We've had well over 1,000 clients over the history of this business, is that we have so much data about what targeting audiences to use on Facebook, that what people who are more likely to need or want an air conditioning system or a furnace, heating system, that type of thing. So there are specific targeting that we have for that. So we're able to know that right away. We jump right in and we can get them leads right away because of that. And specific things about people's buying habits, we know their age groups. For example, we don't target anybody under the age of 35, simply because most people under the age of 35 in the United States and Canada can't afford a home. So if they're not a homeowner, they're likely not going to buy a heating or air conditioning system. Absolutely. So we'll be targeting that. And then we do have some of our own lookalike audiences that we can use for that, based on the thousands and thousands of leads that we've generated for our clients. That allows us to, again, to jump into another market to do that. And again, with the local targeting that you can do with Facebook and Instagram ads, we can say these are the areas that we want to target, right down to the zip code or postal code, depending on what country you're in, and say, hey, we want just to hit this area. We have some clients that say some inner city areas they don't want to go to, so we can exclude those. So we write down the areas that they know where they get the most leads from. And we can even say to our clients as well, saying, hey, what areas, based on all the clients you've had, have you done the most installs or repairs for? And we can say, okay, let's hit those areas with your ads. So that's pretty much what we're doing with Facebook and Instagram ads. But on the Google ads, is that we have, again, we find out what areas they want to target, what areas they don't want to target, what areas they have the most success in already. If they have had some success, I mean, if it's a brand new business, they may not have that. We also have the keywords that we know that work based on all the clients that we have, and as well the ads, the headlines that work very well for that, along with the landing page structures that we use. That's pretty much what our effective tactics are. And also the structure, going back to Facebook, Instagram ads, the structure of the ads we use is vastly different than any other company that we saw initially. Now we have others copying our style, but the style that we did initially, people were like, what is that? That doesn't look like anything on social media. And I would be like, exactly, that's the idea. Because my background is, when I started in marketing, I was hired right out of high school to work for a newspaper to do newspaper design. So the ads that we do are based on what I learned for advertising design to get attention. So that's a huge thing. And I can explain that more later on when you write about what it is that we do. But I use that because social media is very much, whether it's a newspaper or a billboard that you might see on the road or highway, you've got 3 seconds or less than 3 seconds to grab attention. And if your stuff looks like everything else on Facebook, what people might be eating, right? Picture of their family, picture of their home, it's just going to blend in. Our stuff does not blend in. It stands out. It's very much in your face. And that really helps because it grabs that attention. So to sum it up, is that Facebook, Instagram ads, most effective and most cost efficient right now. The lead quality can be a little bit lower at times because it is interruption marketing on Facebook and Instagram. We do Google ads. Google ads are more expensive, but you can get higher quality leads out of that. And that means making sure that your keywords are right, your targeting is right, your ads are right, and your landing pages are done right to convert as many of those visitors that come there, because those clicks can be super expensive coming from Google ads. You better convert at a high percentage, or else you're going to be spending a lot of money without getting any leads from it.
Absolutely. Talking about content, Cary, what role exactly does content marketing play in your overall online marketing strategy for HVAC clients? And in your experience so far, what types of content have you found to be most effective?
Honestly, we found that nothing's really that's worked for content marketing for local businesses, and we don't really do it. And again, that doesn't say it doesn't work, but for us, it hasn't worked. So I'll give you an example. For a national or international brand, you can use content marketing to attract people to your website through blog posts, through videos, for example. It gets them there. They know the brand. The articles are it's articles pertaining to their focus, to those people that have gone to the website. And it's supposed to build a relationship with the audience. They feel connected to you. Mm-hmm. But local businesses like HVAC, you've got people with a need they may not have for years to come after they use our client services. True. So somebody might need a repair. Somebody might need a new air conditioning system. Somebody might need a new furnace or a hot water tank. So the content marketing doesn't do anything for that we find. Again, I'm not saying that it doesn't work for others, but for us, it hasn't. So they're these type of clients are a one and done. I got my AC installed. I'm done. I'm not really going to need anything for it for 5 years, unless there's something else the client might offer, whether it's hot water tanks or a furnace or whatever. And so they might use them the next time. So for example, when we see local businesses writing articles for things like how to tell your AC needs to be replaced, what they end up getting, if the post even ranks, let's say it's a blog post that ranks for that, a bunch of people from across North America, where we are, sometimes internationally, that come to their site to read the article. Now, if the company is located, let's say Dallas, Texas, as an example, because I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and the person reading the article is in Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, what's the likelihood that a person in Winnipeg is going to really ask a company from Dallas to install a new AC? And do you really think that company in Dallas is going to want to go to Winnipeg to do that? So it's with local, it's to us, the content marketing it's a lot of work for not a huge amount of results. But so for local businesses, for a national business, yes, but not necessarily for a local business.
Absolutely. I get it. Where you're coming from. All right. It's talking about, you did mention about Facebook ads, about Insta. So how do you approach in terms of creating effective Facebook ad campaigns for HVAC businesses in particular? And what strategies do you find to be the most successful for Facebook ads in particular?
It's a lot of it has to do with how we structure the ads. So when I first started in Facebook ads, I was reading stuff. This is what you need to do. You need to have people in your ads. You need to have their homes. They need to be sitting in their house happy about, hey, look, my home's comfortable because I have a great air conditioning system or a great furnace. Yeah. Or things like putting animals in there, like your pets, your dogs, your cats. Right?
They're also sleeping quite comfortably and all that. Yeah.
Exactly. So everybody said, you need to do that because that's what everything else is like on Facebook. And as I was saying earlier, is that if it looks like everything else on Facebook, people tend to scan through. And so what we stumbled upon was we had a client of ours who in Florida who just decided, you know what, I want to try this. So he went and put up an ad on his own. It was really ugly. But it was like a headline, the equipment and the price. And he threw it up and we said, okay, let's see how it goes. All of a sudden, that thing just started bringing in lead after lead. And I went, well, that's exactly like the ads that I was trained to do when I was doing newspapers. To do your offer or your headline at the top, your product that you're offering, air conditioning system, furnace, or full heating HVAC system with a price. And so your product, your offer or your headline, your product, your price. Those are the big things that work very well. So when people are reading Facebook ads or Instagram, so they're gonna scan down. And all of a sudden, they're going to see a headline. So that headline at the top is very important. So, for example, we're here, and I know it's March of 2023, and in North America, it's spring. So we might say preseason air conditioning sale. Have a picture of an air conditioning equipment with a price, whether it's a monthly financing price, whether it's a full price. We put it in the ad, and we'll brand it. So we'll put like their logo at the bottom, their phone number in case somebody wants to call directly from the ad. But the important points are your headline, your product, your price. You can have secondary offers, whether it be your warranties or whatever on the ad, but make it simple, make it colors that stand out. You don't put people in that are sitting on a couch or whatever. So you want that to be clear as to what the offer is. So the thing that we see the most leads from when it's Facebook and Instagram are using lead gen ads, where you're using Facebook's built-in lead gen form. But you can't just send them so you get the ad, they click on it, they go to the lead gen form. Then above the lead gen form, there's another image, and that image is a different shape. So most of the time on Facebook, it's a square shape, like a 1080 by 1080p image. Above the form, it's 1200 by 628. So we create another image that looks exactly like the ad, but that shape, so that there's that consistency. They go from the ad, they see the lead gen form. Okay, it's the same thing. Because if it's a different image, people might get confused going, is this the same thing that I clicked on? And then have the form there. So they fill out the form, but we also, from that point, from filling out the form, and before I get to that, is that we found that the lead gen ads work better because Facebook likes to keep everybody in their walled garden. We got more leads out of that than if we sent them to a landing page, because Facebook was like, we don't want people to leave Facebook. So the lead gen ads work better. But so people fill out the lead gen form, whether their name, email address, phone number, city that they live in, gets captured by Facebook, and it gets captured into a place where you have to go download it. Now, if you're a business owner and you get a lead, say, I don't know, at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're out doing an install, and you come back in the office at 4 o'clock, and that lead's sitting there, right? You probably missed it because you didn't respond to them quick enough. So our system then takes over and starts communicating with this potential lead right away, whether it's like, hey, thanks very much. It's like a text message that gets sent to them automatically, tries to get them to book into a calendar call. Our client gets notified on their phone right away. It starts sending emails to them. We'll even try to phone them to keep that touching going. And it'll start touching them for 7 days in a row until they opt out, just to make sure that we're hitting them. We're not missing that possibility. So it's not only just having a great structured ad, it's what you do after that lead comes in to close them. If you're not contacting them with that first 2 minutes, you likely will lose them. So that's why we use the automated system that we have afterwards. And so that's the structure that we see. So it's very different, very bright colors, very big images, big headlines, big prices on the ads.
And then how do you select the demographics, and what all factors do you consider when selecting the demographics of the prospects or the prospect buyers?
Mostly the demographics are age, so over 35.
Mentioned 35.
Facebook has really pulled back some of the targeting options that you have for whatever reasons. I don't necessarily agree with them all, but things like targeting income levels, that type of thing. So it's mostly ages and then also locations that our clients are targeting. And then we have the different targeting when it comes to what their interests are, but that's not demographic. So it's mostly 35 plus. Because, and then some areas, even like Florida, will go 40 plus because it tends to skew a little bit older in a state like Florida. Even in California, the same thing is it tends to skew a little bit older because the home values are that much higher there. And we have pulled them back down to 30 years old, depending on the area we're targeting, but it's mostly 35 plus, mostly men and women, both, but nothing in terms of income anymore, income targeting, or saying top 30% of people, whatever. We found that just ends up being really expensive. So it's pretty simple what the demographics are that we're targeting.
And then do you use any tools for tracking the conversions, Cary?
Yes, obviously we use Facebook's own built-in tracking with the lead gen, but we also use, I don't know if you've ever heard of it, High Level, which is
absolutely.
Yeah, High Level is fantastic. So with that, we have the leads come in, go right into High Level. We have a High Level agency account that we bring our clients into. So they're able to track. It's even a CRM for them as well. Is that they see the leads, what stage their leads are in, and it also tracks the phone calls that come in from it, the lead forms that come in, and they can move them around depending on where they are in that stage of from lead to closing to install, everything there. So everything that we look at is tracked, length of the phone call, what was in the form fill, and even our system that we use to contact these leads with the questions that are initially asked to them, with making sure that we can keep them in that process is all within High Level so our clients can look at that. And if necessary, they can use the app on their phone to contact those leads as well. So we find for us that High Level is the one tool that we use the most of. And I don't think it's something that we really couldn't live without as well. If we have a big client for example, who has multiple locations, we'll probably encourage them to get their own high-level account so that they can have all of that there themselves.
Absolutely.
And right. And as well as that, nobody ever keeps a client forever, unfortunately. I wish I could say that we do. It just doesn't happen for whatever reasons. And it's at a client that size, it's a good idea to have their own high-level account so that they can keep everything with them. Whether they like us or they don't, at least they have everything themselves.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We all talk about legacy clients, but there is always shell life to it as well.
Exactly. Right. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah. In this particular segment, we all know that reviews play an important role, online reviews. Me offering for an AC repair will always look into the reviews for that particular business. In your system, in your agency, how do you acquire or manage online reviews for that matter? And how impactful do you feel are those reviews for any particular HVAC business?
Obviously, reviews are important. And we know that because some people will do reviews for it. Some of the ads that we do will have their Google reviews or their Better Business Bureau rating, or even Home Advisor in the US, their reviews there. To get those reviews and to get happy people to leave reviews is very difficult. And most people who are happy don't leave reviews. If people are upset, right, they're going to go leave bad reviews as much as they can. That's just when people are upset, they're like, I'm going to go tell them exactly what I think. Whereas somebody's happy, I'm supposed to be happy. So they don't leave reviews.
They paid for it.
Exactly. So what we have to do is we have to try to get them more reviews. And one of the ways that we found over the years that works well is a review management system that I came up with. Where, so let's say an installer or a repair tech goes into a home, installs an air conditioner or furnace or repairs it. We get a bit like a postcard done for them that has their name on it, has a QR code, and it says, hey, can you go and leave us a review by scanning this QR code and if you leave the review, we'll give you a gift card, whether it's to Starbucks or some other place like Home Depot or Amazon, like a really inexpensive one, because those reviews are valuable. Let's even a $5 or $10 Starbucks gift card for most businesses to get a review, that's a steal, right? You can give that away. So they get this card, they scan it, and then they're brought to a site that we control. So what we do is we have a list of their reviews that they've had before, this client, and also their star rating, and said, hey, can you leave us a review? We'll send you over a $10 Starbucks gift card. With the idea seeing is that they see the good reviews, we're going to inspire them to give good reviews. So they can leave the review. If they leave a 4 or 5 star review, the system will then send them to another page that says, hey, thanks very much for this great review. Can you go leave this on here, Google My Business, Home Advisor, or whatever else? And we'll send you an additional gift card if you go leave this review elsewhere. So then we're trying to get them to leave that other review. If they don't, they can still be put on their website, right? That they can have that review. We want to get it on those other sites. But if it's less than a 4 or 5 star review, it says, hey, we're sorry we didn't give you a 5-star service. We will be contacting you to see what we could have done better. And it doesn't give them the link to go somewhere else. So we can manage that. You can't control your online reputation, but you can try to manage it. And we found that this was the best way to manage it, to try to avoid those less than 4-star reviews going on any of their important sites. So again, it's that you have to bribe these people to leave reviews if they're happy. It's a shame that you have to do it, but it's just a fact, right? I know for me, I've probably left more bad reviews than I've left good reviews for places I've been, because if I'm happy, I feel like I'm supposed to be happy. And that's the wrong way of thinking. But the bribing works well in making sure that we're not sending them directly to a Google My Business listing saying, hey, go leave a review. We don't really know what kind of review they're going to leave. And the other thing we try to do is that to try to convince these business owners that when they send their text there, have a monthly contest. Whoever can get the most reviews posted, get like a bonus or a gift card themselves, so that they have a reason to leave that postcard to try to convince them to leave a review. Now, so that, I mean, we want to get those reviews because, again, it looks better when people are doing research, right? There are other things when it comes to the factors that they have in terms of SEO, but that's obviously that's a whole other question.
Absolutely. It is also important on the part of businesses to take care and actually work upon the bad reviews or negative reviews that they
Mhm.
get, so that they actually look upon those reviews and try and rectify their mistakes, so that the particular consumer who is actually giving that review, if he or she comes back and lets the people know that, hey, this is the mistake that they committed initially. There was
Yep,
some sort of disagreement that in terms of the service that I had received, but so and so business actually went ahead and rectified or covered up for that mistake. So
that's
that
right.
gives me as a prospective buyer more confidence that even if a business is not, there are every chance, like you mentioned earlier, no one is perfect, right? So there is a possibility that things might go wrong. But if in case that does, then this particular business versus other businesses have higher chances of taking care of their own misdoings versus people
Right.
who actually just let it go and
Yep,
focus on just positive reviews. So yeah, that is also one aspect of that, wherein the ownership lies with the businesses to take care of negative reviews, work upon them, and make sure that these customers are satisfied at the end of the day.
exactly. And the other interesting that we found,
Uh,
and just on our own and also through research, most people don't believe when you have a 5-star review for your
they
business.
don't, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
if they see 4.8, 4.9, a
Uh-huh,
lot of times we can go, okay, that seems more realistic to me than 5.0,
absolutely.
because a lot of them will look at 5.0 and think, and I don't know if you ever heard this term before, but years ago when you could fake Google reviews a lot easier, they've really
Yeah,
fixed it.
absolutely.
It was called astroturfing, right? Where you
Yeah.
go in and you put up your own reviews. So
Hmm.
people have this feeling that they don't necessarily believe it unless they see a few bad reviews. Like I know for myself is that when we're traveling with the business, when we're going to trade shows,
Hmm.
we're looking for places to go eat that have a lot of reviews and aren't necessarily 5 stars, because if it's 5 stars, we just go, we know that isn't real, right?
Yeah,
Because not
yeah.
everybody's happy. That's,
No
and
business is
again,
perfect. No business
yeah,
is perfect.
nobody's perfect. No,
Something like a 4.23-ish to 4.67-ish is more realistic in terms
yeah,
of review versus a 5-star. And on top of that, if the volume of the reviews are more, and it is a mixed bag of reviews wherein you are getting 5 stars, you're getting 4 stars, and the overall averaging out comes out to be somewhere between 4.5, 4.4,
yeah,
then it seems more realistic,
exactly.
because no business is perfect. And these 5 stars, less number of reviews, let's say 10 or 5, 8 reviews, everyone's saying brilliant service, good product.
Yeah.
It does not make that amount of sense. Yeah, I can completely relate to that. Okay. Before we let you go, Cary, looking ahead, what trends do you see emerging in the world of online marketing for HVAC businesses? And at HVAC Grow, how are you preparing to adapt your strategies to stay ahead of the curve?
What we see right now that is the big opportunity, and the things that are changing or trending is AI. And use, for example, is that one of the things that we've done in the last 2 months is that we are using AI, meaning specifically Chat GPT,
Right.
to on our own website for saying, hey, text us 24/7. And so if somebody wants to text us to ask us questions about our own service, they can click on it and they can start a conversation. And it doesn't matter what time of the day. We have set up Chat GPT with the AI to answer questions the way we want it answered. And the stuff it does is absolutely blowing me away at how well it answers these questions. So we've had people who are looking to get, are interested about our services, go click on the button, start the chat, and ask a question to
Uh-huh.
it. Say, hey, do this, what do I got to do? And ChatGPT just starts answering these questions. It's just, wow, it's like a real person answering it. And
Yeah,
we've even set it,
genuinely.
we've even set it up so that if somebody asks a question or starts interacting with it, is that it doesn't answer right away. There's a delay, because a real human is not going to be able to answer a 3 or 4
Yeah,
sentence response in
absolutely.
1 second, right? And we get people that start interacting, and
Hmm.
then we're trying to push them into scheduling a call with us, and then they go schedule a call, and we're like, wow, this is really working well. And one of the things that shocked us is that we had somebody go there the first time, and we've seen it now multiple times. They asked a question in Spanish because in the United States, there are a lot of Spanish speaking people. Now, me being an idiot from the West Coast of Canada, I speak English and I don't even speak English very well. I don't even speak any other language. So we looked at this and went, and then they asked a question in Spanish. ChatGPT responded in Spanish, and we were like, what the? Right? And it carried on a conversation with this person until they booked a call with us. And we're like, we had no idea it could do this. Now, the trend that we see is that what we're doing is that this is something that we're rolling out in the next week here, is we are going to offer this to our clients so that they can have 24/7 chat, like via text message, SMS, from their website. So they don't have to have somebody sitting there manning, watching the chat to make sure that they can respond, that we can have that set up for them for a very small cost each month to have that interaction happening if somebody comes to their website in the middle of the night with a question, and try to get them to book them into a call from there. So AI, I think, even in the next 3 months, is going to be massive. And I think over a long period of time, it's going to be, and not just for the chat side of things, is that I know the SEO side of things for creating content, that Chat GPT and AI is going to be creating content for that. And I know Google's right now realizing they really have to do a lot to fight this, because they don't want people creating content in 5 seconds for a website. Right? That's people to rank. So to me, it's number one, AI. Number two is there's a big opportunity, I think, in Google C right now, because there's a lot of businesses that are not managing their PPC well. And what we're finding is that if you can hang on for 90 days, get that algorithm learning, and then teaching it where you want your ads to show, who you want your ads to show to, that cost per lead goes down and down. And you can really get that thing powerful. If you, after 90 days, that if you can get to that phase where you're through maximize conversions to total cost per action, saying, hey, I want leads at $80 a lead from this, you can just turn it on and have leads coming in one after the other. It's so many times, and I'm sure you've seen this, that people do PPC and they bail after 30 days because they think this isn't working. And right. So it's a matter of getting that PPC set up correctly for long-term results and not bailing out in the first 30 days. Social media ads are not going anywhere. I don't believe they're still doing very well for us. Number one, AI, and number two, getting back into PC and doing it correctly to get the most leads. Now, there are other things like YouTube and such, but that's a whole other story that we don't have time for.
Great. So thank you, Cary. Thank you for taking out time for this episode. And I'm sure our audiences will have benefited a lot hearing about it from the master of HVAC, online marketing, if I can put it that way. So thank you so much for your time. It has been a real pleasure hosting you, Cary. And we'll try and get hold of you for another one in the near future. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you very much. I appreciate you having me on here. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Cary. Have a great day. Yeah. Cheers.
You too. Bye now.